Welcome to What's Up at Work, the podcast that's all about real talk with the company leaders shaping Northeast Ohio's top workplaces. We're diving into the stories, strategies, and sometimes hilarious moments that come with creating the thriving teams that drive the region's most successful businesses forward. Whether it's a CEO sharing their leadership philosophy or an HR exec spilling their best people-first strategies, we're here to give you insights you can actually use to build a better workplace. Hit play and let's talk about what's really up at work. Welcome back to What's Up at Work, everybody. I am Sam Clyde Schroeder, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at ERC. And today's guest is someone who has spent his career building one of the most expansive sports medicine programs in the country. Dr. James Voos is Chair of Orthopedic Surgery at University Hospitals, and he's helped build a system that connects professional sports, research, innovation, and youth athletics throughout Northeast Ohio. During football season, he is a pretty busy guy. He spends his Friday nights at local high school games. On Saturdays, he's likely watching college games. On Sundays, he's with the Browns. Note, not at the Browns, with the Browns, as in he is the head team physician for the Cleveland Browns. In today's episode, we talk about how he grew partnerships with more than 80 local high schools, invested in new technologies that improve athlete safety, and created opportunities for students who want to pursue careers in sports medicine. Dr. Voos, welcome to What's Up at Work. It is so great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk. Football season sounds pretty busy for you. So as we said, Fridays you're at high school games, Saturdays you're with college teams, and Sundays you're with the Browns. I'm tired just listening to that. How did that become normal life for you?
That's really become life and my lifestyle here now. And the most unique part of it is our job extends outside the walls of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And to me, it really doesn't feel like work. There's no doubt it's a job, right? But we love sports. We really love the opportunity to take care of our community and be involved in the community. And sports medicine is one of those really unique jobs where not only are you working inside of the walls of the hospital, but you get to practice medicine outside of the walls of the hospital. So there's nothing more exciting for me. It's very energizing. It's very fulfilling. My family is a part of it. We all love doing it together. All of my kids are athletes. My wife is a physician, so she's very understanding as well. Yeah. And they all take turns coming to the games with us. So it's a lot of fun to have them be a part of it.
That's super fun. All right, so something else fun and interesting is your background. You grew up on a farm in Kansas, and then you trained in New York at one of the top orthopedic hospitals in the world. And at one point, you opened a practice where you weren't just a surgeon, you were actually running the business. Was the business side of it something that you were excited about learning, or was it, well, to keep the doors open, I kind of got to do this and figure it out?
It was a wonderful opportunity. It's one of the things why I always tell everyone you never know where life is going to take you. So always keep your head up and prepare yourself for the opportunities that may present themselves. And the journey from living in about as small of a town as you possibly can and going to medical school in Kansas where they send you out to rural communities where you may be the only doctor in the county, to training in New York at the Hospital for Special Surgery. That's the number one orthopedic hospital in the world. You see every famous person and professional athlete. Really wonderful opportunities to see both sides of the spectrum and really help you take care of all athletes. And going back to Kansas City where we had a private practice where we owned the building, we owned the practice, really was a crash course in the business of medicine. And these different life experiences prepared me for that. But I had no idea what I was getting myself into there. I had some wonderful partners. And after being recruited here to Cleveland, I thought I would leave that private life behind coming to a major academic medical center. But we really had the chance to blend all of those together, the academics, the innovation, the opening of these new facilities. So it's really been one of those unique things where all of these life experiences have come together to our current program.
Right. I got to ask you, how many times did someone say, like, you're not in Kansas anymore?
Yeah, over and over again. I had never been to Cleveland in my life before coming here, and we've been here 12 years now and absolutely love it. But it's a place where both the and Jimmy Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns, as well as the administration at our hospital, at University Hospitals, we told the story of what we wanted to do. We were all bought in, and they said, let's run with it. We'll give you all the resources that you need. And we started essentially from nothing, but it's one of those where if you have a very clear vision and a great team, and our hospital leadership got out of the way and let us build a program, and we're very thankful that they've given us that opportunity.
So let's dig into this a little bit. The Browns and University Hospital, they were working together to build a much bigger sports medicine program and here in Cleveland, and they wanted someone with NFL experience to lead it. So you agree to do this. You show up in Cleveland. Then what? Did they already have a system in place, a structure in mind, or did UH and Haslam just kind of say, like, you're on your own, go get them, Tiger?
That was a really unique thing. And coming in at that time, I was the youngest head team physician in the NFL at 35 years old. I had worked for 4 years as an assistant for the Kansas City Chiefs and did my year of training with the Giants. So I'd been in the NFL, but this was my first time as a head team physician, as a young person at that time, or the youngest person at that time doing it. There was not a program in place, and it's one where the Haslams had a very clear vision of what they wanted to accomplish for their athletes. And the hospital, while we didn't have a structured sports medicine program, it's clearly a wonderful academic medical center, had all of the foundation to do so, and gave us all the resources that we needed. So we started at our core things of building our medical structure around the Browns. We did that first to make sure the athletes had all of the care they needed. And we used the term, we've actually trademarked the term, taking care of athletes from Pee Wee to Pro.
Trademarked that term.
That's our trademark term for University Hospital Sports Medicine. So everything we've done at the professional level, we essentially structure down to our college, high school, and youth level. So they're not separate of each other. And that's one of the really unique parts is we don't do the kids differently than the pro athletes. We've really integrated that entire program so the care flows between the two so you don't miss a step. And it really helps us all march in the same direction.
Wow, that's incredible. And I'm so excited to talk about what that looks like. But first, as we're talking about sports medicine, can you just give the audience a definition of, sports medicine sounds pretty broad. What are we talking about when we're talking about sports medicine?
Yeah, there's two sides to a sports medicine physician. One are the sports medicine surgeons like myself. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, so I will see patients in the office with sports injuries and then do surgeries, ACL surgeries and Tommy Johns and shoulder dislocations. Tommy John's an elbow surgery. All the baseball pitchers that have their elbow ligament injuries that all are on ESPN all the time. So that's the day job, but then the additional part is out helping to take care of teams, and that's that taking or extending care outside of the walls of the hospital. So that's the really unique part of managing an entire organization. And part of our training is to learn how to do that, how to deal with teams and how to make sure you care for an entire organization. And then there's another side of us that's our non-surgical or primary care sports medicine docs that don't do surgery and really help us take care of our other medical issues. And they're wonderful partners and very needed part of our sports medicine team.
All right. So thank you for that definition. And now follow-up question. So UH and Jimmy Haslam, why were they looking to build this program in the first place? What was the motivation before they even got you involved? Why was sports medicine important to them? And why did they decide that they wanted to move forward with something like this?
Yeah, what I've really come to learn as you dig into the DNA and the fabric of the organization you join, and then have had the 12 years to spend with the Haslams and the Browns, is both are very community-facing organizations. They're very committed to students staying in school and the overall health of their organization, and they both realize the importance that sports has in meeting that goal. So our students that are playing sports are more likely to stay in school. It's great access to deliver all of our health and wellness things out into the community. So the Browns taking care of our pro football team is clearly this very high profile thing, but it really is a platform for us to have this megaphone to deliver care to the rest of our community.
That's a really cool way to look at it. And if we dig into this sports medicine program now that we're talking about, I think it kind of has three legs, right? It has several key pieces, and I kind of want to go through each of them in a little bit more detail because it's a really complex and very cool program. So if we're talking about our legs of the stool, if you will, the first leg is high school partnerships. So can you talk a little bit about what the goal of that part of the program is?
Yeah, I think this is the single most important part of our program, and this is our school program. When I first joined here, we had 4 high schools that we used to care for. We now have over 80 high schools, plus another 10 or 15 club organizations, and then the Browns, the Monsters, the Ballet, Playhouse Square. So
good God.
It's a large number of organizations that we went one by one, shaking hands and meeting people along the way. But the core of the program is we place an athletic trainer at that school at our cost. And that athletic trainer not just cares for the athletes, but we really refer to them as ambassadors for healthcare. So every school knows the closest pediatricians and emergency room and physical therapy. So it really helps to be a conduit for healthcare. So every school has the athletic trainer assigned to them. We do emergency action plans so that each school environment is very safe. There's a team physician assigned to every school. So those 80 plus schools, it's over 100,000 kids that we have the opportunity to impact their lives. So our hope is that we don't have to see them in the hospital and they're all healthy and safe. But if they do need our care or do need us, they know we're right here, very easy to access us for any of their needs.
Wow. And I mean, having athletic trainers and resources from university hospitals actually in the school, I mean, that's a big deal. What does it mean to the schools to have that level of care accessible to them? What does that change for them, I suppose?
Yeah, there's several elements to it. One is athletic trainers it's when you think of it from a human resources standpoint, it's another FTE or another full-time employee that the hospital provides. So it's a huge cost investment that the hospital makes in the community of placing that athletic trainer there. And many schools may not be able to afford an athletic trainer in their budget. So that's one. The second is when you think of the most severe things at school, children can have cardiac events, heat illness, traumatic injuries, and having an athletic trainer there with an emergency action plan literally saves lives. And there's story after story that we hear about of the athletic trainers being able to step in and save a life.
Wow.
And then ultimately it's the day-to-day care. It's really keeping the athletes safe and on the field, and it's ice and taping and dealing with those minor injuries. And then when something does happen, they can quickly get the athlete in to be seen by a healthcare provider. And it's not just the athletes, it's the teachers and the administrators. And so you really become this conduit to the entire community, and all of the trainers or all of the athletes love the trainer, and it's one of those really great relationships that are built, and it's a really unique group, and our athletic trainers are really the lifeblood of our entire program.
Wow. And if you are dealing with 80 local high schools, I mean, what portion of the greater Cleveland market does that represent? I mean, that's got to be a significant chunk.
It covers a lot of geography. We're all the way out from Amherst all the way to the to the Pennsylvania border, down to south to Ashland and into Akron. So an incredible span across Northeast Ohio.
That's fantastic. I mean, you started off with 4, now you're at 80. How in the whole world did you scale up like that? I mean, what did it take resource-wise? All of it.
Yeah, the program has surpassed our expectations, and the goal was to grow at 3 schools a year. And we have obviously other wonderful competitors here in town that we're very friendly with. But my goal coming into Cleveland, and maybe a little naive, maybe a little bit of confidence from playing college sports that I'm gonna win this. We went and said we're going to create our own program. We're not going to worry about what anybody else is doing. And our theme is that we're really the hometown team. We're going to have personal relationships. You're going to know your physician. You're going to know my face.
Right.
And so at each one of our schools, our team physician is present. The students and the parents and the teachers know who their physician is. It's really a personalized level of care. It's not transactional.
Right.
So that's a big part of the culture as we hire new athletic trainers and new physicians, is having that mindset and heart to serve. So everyone that comes into our program, that's the core. You really need to want and love to be part of the schools and be out there and really be part of the community. So it's a very personalized program, and that's really what we've tried to drive home with each of the organizations we care for.
Right. And beyond that, it's such a meaningful program and you're doing so much good in the community. But also, Cleveland is a hospital town, right? We have a lot of great healthcare here. And, coming from sales and marketing, differentiation is key.
And that's the goal, is to really differentiate ourselves. And from my end, it was, we're going to be the personal care. I grew up in a small town, and we, literally growing up on a farm, and my goal is to make each of these places where we deliver care feel like a small town, feel like a very sophisticated scientific small town, but where everybody, you see the faces, you see the same people. So trying to shrink down healthcare into these smaller little healthcare communities.
Absolutely. And you keep mentioning, what were you farming on your farm? I got to ask. I'm so curious. What were you growing?
We were all wheat and sunflower and milo and soybeans, and we have our original variety. We have our original land grant from 1886, our first 78 acres when our great-grandparents came over. So it's been in the family, a very coveted part of our family heritage here.
Wow, that is so cool. That was on my mind when we started with Kansas. I had to ask you. All right, so the next piece of this program that I want to talk about is the UH Haslam Sports Innovation Center. So this is a pretty cool setup. If I understand it correctly, UH is investing in companies that are developing technologies to improve athlete safety, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so essentially that's venture capital. How in the world did a hospital end up in the VC business?
Yeah, this is one of the initiatives I'm the most excited about and really ties our program all the way together. We have wonderful care, these surgeries we perform and the care we deliver. We have all of these great school programs. We train these incredible orthopedic residents and fellows and produce all of this research. And the final part of this program is really developing new technology and supporting new technologies. Right. And this is a wonderful part of this partnership. And we're coming back to Dee and Jimmy. We really had a conversation of what can we do next? How can we continue to move the needle forward? Our hospital CEO is incredibly supportive. Mm-hmm. The Haslams wanted to make a gift to the hospital, and we sat down, and it was actually Dee and I that came up with this plan of let's continue to move the safety of sports forward, and let's do it by investing in companies so we can participate in the growth and the benefit of companies that are committed to safety in sports. So there's an economic component. Yeah. There's a research component in that our best partners are these companies that need help continuing to develop and test their product. Right. And we use our programs as what's called the living lab. So we have these 80 high schools and colleges that love to try all of the new equipment and these new procedures. And we can compare, if we do this with 5 schools, we can compare the results to 75 of the others. So we use the term living lab. So it allows us to do the testing and the research and the development alongside these companies. And then the third part that's really fun is we get to tell the marketing story and let everybody know when the successes happen. It looks good for everyone. So we've invested in 9 companies now. This is it's at the end of our second year in practice. So we've really loved it. It's been a super exciting initiative. And really, for me, it's been one of the most stimulating parts of practice here, of meeting all of these companies and entrepreneurs from across the country, to college kids that just started up new companies, to some of the most sophisticated companies across the world. It's a very stimulating thing and created a lot of jobs and new companies here in Cleveland, and that's what we're the most excited about.
Absolutely. And some of these companies are really doing cool things. So fun fact, one of the companies you worked with is now going on Shark Tank. When someone walks in with an idea for improving athlete safety, what makes you think this has real potential? How do you know when you've got a winning idea in front of you?
A couple things. One, the Shark Tank was wonderful, and it was 2 Wednesdays ago, was live on Shark Tank, and they won. They won. So 2 young college kids from Michigan State. We were one of their first investors here a couple years ago. Had an incredible, very emotional experience on Shark Tank. So excited for them. And it's a shoelace company. They've developed these very unique shoelaces. And so it's, when we look at these companies, first of all, is there an unmet need, or are they solving a problem there? And so seeing, okay, boy, this is really a problem we need to solve. And then the second is, do they have the right team together? And sometimes it's a very new and maybe, I don't want to say naive, but a young team that doesn't quite know what they're doing, but they're on to something. They've got great energy. They're totally committed, and they have a real passion for it. And those are actually the companies we like the most, because they have a great product, they have great energy, and then they just need the structure that we can help provide for them. And then obviously there's other companies that come with this super sophisticated technology that we just want to jump on and be a part of. Of course. But the first we talked about, like Brace, who's the shoelace company, is one where these young kids, great idea, really smart, and they just need some structure behind them, and to help propel them forward is really exciting to see the success here.
Right. You got to tell us about these shoelaces. What do they actually do?
So the challenge with shoelaces is over time they break and they come untied, and it sounds really simple, but if you're playing hockey and your shoelaces break during the game,
trouble.
It's a big deal. You're out. We've had several of our professional football players have a lace break at a very critical time of the game. You have to come out and you miss several plays.
Right.
So this shoelace is made out of a technology that doesn't break, and then the laces stay tied.
Right.
And as these were exposed to our athletes and to the equipment managers, they couldn't put them on fast enough. They loved it. They're like, these actually work. They don't break. They don't come untied. Such a simple premise in shoelaces, but this little change in technology has really taken off.
Wow. Okay. That's super cool. I got to know, which shark was into them?
This was two of the newer judges. So two of the judges actually funded them.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, Shark Tank's a big deal. I'm a big fan of that show. I needed to know. All right. Another piece of this puzzle, the program that you're building here, is all about exposing students to sports medicine careers. So whether that's high school students shadowing trainers or medical students getting exposure to programs through the NFL, what made that something you wanted to invest in?
We are an academic institution, so training the next generation of orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine physicians is really important to me. It's one of our obligations. It's part of our identity as an academic medical center. So that's one. It's just it's in our DNA. The other personally is I had wonderful experiences starting at 15 years old shadowing. My mother was a nurse in her ambulatory surgery center, and shadowing the physicians there and taking an interest in me was incredibly inspiring. It made a huge difference in me selecting a career in medicine. Right. So there's the academic structure we have to continue to train people. And then there's the personal part of I hope I can give someone the same experience that I had the opportunity to do. And I know mentorship is a big thing that everyone brings up, but healthcare is a really long journey. It's really hard and a really long journey.
It's like 12 years, right?
Having people exposed to that here early on really helps them picture themselves in this environment to see what it really entails. And we have high school students come in and do observerships. We're training our medical students do formal rotations. And one of the initiatives I launched when I was president of the NFL Physicians Society is what we call the pipeline program, where we would take medical students who had not had any exposure to sports medicine, and they would come and work with us with the team, with the Cleveland Browns for an entire month. And everything I would do, they would do. So they get to go to the training room and go to the games and be on the sidelines and really immerse themselves in it. That program has been very successful with the NFL. We've had 3 students come through. It's very fulfilling. It's now happening across the entire NFL.
Wow.
And now our other major sports leagues, Major League Baseball and NBA, are now adopting these programs. So it was a great way to make an impact. It was nice to expose our students to professional sports as well.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool. And I'm so glad that you said the word pipeline, because that's where I was headed next. I mean, I think across all of these initiatives, one common theme is that you are building pipeline from the ground up of people who are going to go on and make an impact, and you're giving access in various ways to, young people who might not otherwise have the opportunity to be involved with these things. Why is building that pipeline and why is starting young important?
Yeah, it really helped. I think it's very motivating.
Yeah.
If you know what you want to do, it's very inspiring and very motivating. And I had, for example, I don't think I was ever exposed to anybody in banking or investments or venture capital, those things, until I was an adult. And so my exposure was in medicine, and that's what inspired me to go that direction. And so there's a lot of our students that never thought that sports medicine was a career that they wanted to go into, or orthopedics was a career they wanted to go into. So it's just opening the door a little bit to look inside and try it on. And hopefully it's affirming and it's something that's really exciting and you want to do. And you may look at it and say, boy, I do not want to be on sidelines on Friday nights and Saturdays. But then now, and there may be another part of healthcare you want to enter. But that starting in high school, I really think it helps you start to have goals and center what you want to do. And I think it inspires you with each of your classes, and it may even change where you want to go to college here as well if you know what you're interested in.
Yeah, I think you're building an equitable structure. Right. So the structure of the programs that you're putting in place, it's giving everyone an equal opportunity to succeed within that structure. And that's really important. And you don't see that a lot of places. A lot of times it's top down where, and you don't really have, you don't see as much talent coming from the ground up and working their way into the organizations. But when you build a structure that allows for that and starting at a young age, it's really important. And it, I think, grows a stronger community, which is so great to have in Northeast Ohio.
Well, the best things we get are when our students we've had get accepted into medical school or get accepted into residency, and you get these wonderful thank you cards, and they say they want to come back to Cleveland and be a physician when they're done. And that you've done your job here when you've motivated people to come back and serve their community. And so those are the feel-good ones. You like to ride on those here for a while as much as you can. Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Voos. So we have reached the point in this show for a segment called HR Hot Seat. Basically what we do here, it's rapid fire questions, so you answer in as much or as little detail as you want. It's a lot of fun. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it. Favorite Browns player you've ever worked with?
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, why?
Incredibly hard worker.
Yeah.
Did his work with his feet and with his work ethic, and a wonderfully nice person. We went through a lot together. I performed his procedures when he had his injury. So it's someone that you've seen their level of perseverance, incredibly hard worker. He's a wonderful person. Joel Batonio, very close second. Two really wonderful guys.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you got to, I love what you were saying before we were recording about Myles Garrett too. Like you said, he's superhuman, or what are the words? What's Myles Garrett like?
One of the most gifted athletes I've ever been around. And when other elite level professional athletes acknowledge that this is one of the best people ever on the field, it's a great thing. And also a wonderful human to be around. So it's been a great opportunity to work with him.
You work with a lot of wonderful people, it sounds like. That's fantastic. All right, Friday night high school football or Sunday Browns game, which has better energy?
With as much as I love our professional football, there is nothing as pure as Friday night energy. And the reason why is anything can happen.
Right.
I know it can happen in the pros, but in a high school football field, anything can happen.
Right.
There's still enough variables there, and maybe enough. Everybody's so new at what they're doing, so it just adds for a lot of excitement. And there's this, from my end, there's a pride there taking care of the community. You get to know all the parents and the school you're rooting for. So both are wonderful, but the high school football is pretty special.
I love that. All right. Hardest athlete to convince to rest an injury?
Ballet dancers, easily.
I get that.
They will not stop. They're incredible athletes, very dedicated.
Yeah.
I love taking care of them, but they will not quit. They're the toughest out there.
That was a fantastic answer. All right. One sports safety innovation people would be surprised by.
Ooh, that's a great one. If I can go on a tangent with this one a little bit, we, as part of these high schools we track all of the injuries. So every school gets their we see all the injuries that occur. And the number one reason that a player comes out of the game or a trainer goes on the field is cramping. An athlete
really?
Cramp. So the number one high school injury is people cramping. And in the NFL, we did this. We looked for 2 seasons. How do we keep people from cramping? Is it all this hydration and all the crazy liquids and goos and all of those things? And we realized people need to eat on the field. So if you are working out for more than a half an hour, you need to consume calories as well. So our safety innovation that kept more people on the field is eating. And the number one food that people eat is Uncrustables. So I have no relationship with them other than Uncrustables are the best sports medicine innovation. So I'm sorry to plug for them.
No.
The number one innovation to keep athletes on the field that I've experienced in being able to make a change.
Do you know how many people are going to be so excited to hear a doctor tell them that Uncrustables are the solution to cramps?
So if the longer level activity, and of all the things the athletes love, peanut butter and jelly.
So that happens, and cramping, I mean, peanut butter and jelly is fantastic regardless. There's lots of good stuff. Also, Smucker's is an Ohio company, a little outside of Cleveland, so we love that too. But cramping is something that I'm digging in here a little bit because, I even know some people who are like, oh, I'm embarrassed that I got these cramps and had to come off the field or had to stop running. That happens from high school to pro,
all
right?
All the way through. Universal. It's the most sophisticated or most simple, yet simple solution for a very sophisticated problem. So it's made a huge difference. So
I'm going to pass that along. Eat your Uncrustables. All right. Your favorite Cleveland restaurant to go to after a game?
Oh boy, this is like we've gone to the Fairmount on Cedar Fairmount after every game. Several of us team doctors live very close by there.
Right.
We started going there after wins, but then we weren't winning a whole lot of games, so then we just decided to go there after every game. And the guys have been awesome with us. We've known the folks that have worked there for a long time. There is a very unique shot, a drink there at the Fairmount that when we walk in the door, they have ready for us each time when we walk into.
You got to tell us what it is.
It's called the La Verdita. It's a spicy green drink. So credit to the Fairmount. They've taken very good care of us in sickness and in health here for 12 years with the taking care of the Browns. They've been a great group. So I'm happy to acknowledge them. They've been a wonderful group of guys.
Yes, I will second you. I had my rehearsal dinner at the Fairmount.
Oh, great.
And it's a big fan of that place. All right. Youth sport every kid should try.
So I'm not a very good swimmer, and so and I like to continue to find ways to challenge myself, so I've tried to learn to swim. I'm still not very good at it, but it gets me out of my comfort zone. And so I would challenge a youth athlete to try a sport they never thought they would try. Get yourself outside your comfort zone, and you may surprise yourself.
I love that. And you have to be a good athlete to swim. Like, that takes a lot of lung power. That's a whole thing.
I'm not very good at it.
All right. Tell me about the sport coat you invented. And you're going to need to go into greater detail on this because sport coat you invented. Go ahead.
And in fact, I actually have it on as we speak here.
All right.
So thank you for asking. It was a nice opportunity to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Show and tell.
So it's when falling into this innovation side of life here where you realize that you can really make an impact on things, not just in work, but how you can developing new products and looking for problems that really need solutions. And the gentleman I trained with in New York, Dr. Russ Warren, was the Giants doctor for over 30 years.
Wow. And
he believed in looking the part when you were on the sidelines. That means sport coat and tie and look professional and dress the part.
Right.
So all of us that have trained underneath him wear these sport coats, including our medical team. The challenge with that is when you're dressed nice, you get sweat on and bled on, and you're crawling around on the ground, and you rip your fancy sport coat open. And so I kept ruining jacket after jacket. And as part of our innovation plan, we met with a gentleman that used to work for Under Armour. He started a very high-end scrub company called Cure, Kyur, which has been featured in several of the Cleveland business magazines. So we partnered with Cure. It's like the Vuori of scrubs, very high-end scrubs, medical grade, or these high-end medical grade scrubs. And a wonderful designer who's in the sports world for a long time. I said, I've had this idea. I want to wear a sports coat that's actually made out of athletic material, but I want essentially to trick people to think I have a formal jacket on, but I'm really wearing the same material that a jersey is made out of. And it's vented on the inside, and there's vented armpits, and it's very lightweight, and you can sweat and put it in the washer. So there's 20 of these. We've made the first run of them.
Wow.
Of our sports, SPORTS, the sports coat.
Okay.
Made for team physicians
That's
to
clever.
crawl around and sweat in, and we hope it takes off. So it's a fun part of things. So it's a little passion project here now to try to still be able to have a very active and job where you're crawling around and doing a lot of work, but still looking professional. And for me, it's acknowledging Dr. Warren and the impact he had on my life of still trying to make sure we carry that looking professional forward.
I love that. If you brought it to Shark Tank, I'm sure Mark Cuban would be into it.
See how this goes.
Oh my gosh. This has been so much fun, Dr. Voos. I have one more closing question for you before we wrap this thing up. You've done a lot since you landed in Northeast Ohio over a decade ago. When you look at everything that's grown out of the work that you've done during your time here, youth sports programs, research, startup companies, professional sports partnership, the list goes on. What are you most proud of?
That's a wonderful question. I have two answers to that.
Absolutely.
From a personal side, my wife is a physician. I have 3 children. They love being here. We have a wonderful family. Everybody takes care of each other. So that part of things is I never wanted the job to take over our family side of things. I don't believe in the term work-life balance because that means they're in opposition to each other. I'm very much a work-life symbiosis. And so I'm, from a personal side, proud that I like my marriage and my kids are in symbiosis with us. We have a wonderful group of adjusted kids and a very supporting wife. So very proud that we've been able to do this and have the personal side of it. But really, I'm most proud of people. And we have all these great buildings we've built. The thing, since I have been chair of our department for 7 years, I've hired over 25 physicians. I think we now have 60 physicians in our practice, and no one's left.
Wow.
I've not had a single person leave since I've been chair of our department. So that's what I'm the most department of. I'm a people person and a culture person. I believe in our team. We want to support our team. And so I'll hang on to that for as long as we can here.
You know, ERC is in the HR world, and that 100% retention rate is unheard of.
That's when we want to keep it going. We'll see if we can keep the culture going. I'm very much a hype guy. We like to make all these slogan-y T-shirts and such, but it's the most important thing to me.
You do a lot of clothing making. Right. We have jackets, we have T-shirts, all of those things. Oh, Dr. Voos, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been just a blast. All right, everybody. So that is it for today's episode of What's Up at Work. Huge thanks to Dr. James Voos for joining us on the show. Remember, if you like this conversation, be sure to leave us a review and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and stay curious about what's up at work. We hope you enjoyed this episode of What's Up at Work. Now it's time to get out there and start building better workplaces. If you need help with where to start, ERC has your back. Head to yourerc.com for exclusive HR tools, insights, and resources to help you attract and retain top talent. And keep tuning into What's Up at Work for more strategies and secrets to help leaders like you create thriving workplaces. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.